Welcome to our first real-world project where we'll be competing against other people in a design contest. This is hosted on 99 Designs and the first place prize is $1,175. There are only 2 days and 17 hours left and there are literally no designs submitted. This is a bit strange, so let's see what's what. Usually projects on 99 Designs last 6 days and after a few hours they get a couple of entries. If the contest holder doesn't like them at all and wants to eliminate them, those now bear the label archived. That's the new politically correct term for rubbish design. Frankly, I preferred seeing a message saying, "Your entry got eliminated," rather than, "It was archived." It doesn't hurt my feelings any less, but anyway, that's what 99 decided to call it. This project doesn't even have eliminated entries, and I can tell by looking at the Designs tab. If it had them, that number would have shown up here in brackets. If we jump to another contest, we can see we have a certain number of active entries, but if we look at the Designs tab, we can see a much bigger number. The difference lies in designs that have been archived, or better put, eliminated from the contest. You can see those by using this drop-down. So why is this project neglected? I found it by sorting contests in descending order of their prize money. I think this was about the 5th one from the top, so surely it had more than decent visibility. The title doesn't say much. Create a revolutionary social platform for issue-based activity. Revolutionary is usually a scary word because it implies things that have never been done before. This might be an indication that the client has unclear expectations. Still, it's a bit early to tell, but that's our first clue. Let's check out the contest holder by hovering over his username. It seems he has no refunds, so that's good, and the contest started 1 day and 7 hours ago, so it's a shorter contest than usual, and that's interesting. It implies this client's in a hurry, so my assumption is he's more than likely to give feedback. We'll see if that's true or not. It seems the client has had 3 previous successful contests. That's a big plus. It means he knows his way around the platform. By the way, I've never heard this name before, so I might get the client's gender wrong, but I'll use the term him instead of her because it comes more naturally to me. I hope that's okay. The winning entries look pretty good. I'm checking them out so I can see what type of work the client's looking for. This particular contest may be for something completely different, yet it always pays to check out how he handled previous projects. Based on that, I can decide if this is worth pursuing. The infographic contest is interesting. 100% of designs have been rated or archived, but only 11% of designers have received actual feedback. This is a big warning sign because without written content, you can't adjust your design. Sure, 3 stars tells you you're not there yet, but if 10 other designs have the same rating, how are you supposed to improve your work? So this is pretty concerning. It may mean the client won't give us his written input. The design itself is nice though. It's interesting the designer used a serif font and he was chosen as the winner. Most designers go with sans serif fonts, so that's something to keep in mind. The one-page flyer has worse stats. 50% of designers have received feedback, but no entry has been rated. This means you're kept in the dark the entire time. If you're competing against 20 other people and you can't see their star ratings, you'll have no idea if you're in the lead or at the back of the pack, so that's another minus. The logo project is the worst of them all. 13% have received comments and nobody got any star ratings. So it's clear this contest holder doesn't like to interact with designers. Okay, based on all this information, I can prepare and adjust our strategy as we go along. Let's check out the brief. Okay, this looks substantial. I'd say this is a fairly heavy brief just by glancing over it. Let's open the first link so we can see what we need to redesign. This page looks barren because it doesn't have that many elements to start with. It doesn't seem outdated though. You can tell this was created not that long ago. I'd say no more than 2 years at the maximum, most likely less than that. We need to find out why they want to change it. Let's dive into the brief. Here we have loads of instructions, point by point, area by area. This means we don't have to imagine a layout by ourselves. Thing is, I don't like being micromanaged, and this seems exactly that, meaning I don't like working with clients who know specifically in great detail what they want. That limits me a lot, and it's harder for you as a designer to separate yourself from the competition. At the end of the day, all participants will read and execute the same thing. You really have to pay close attention to all the minute details if you're to get ahead. For that reason, plus the low amount of feedback given in previous projects by this client, I'm leaning towards skipping this one. What it's got going for it is the high prize money for only one page, 2 days left, and no entries. Usually contests that are over $1,000 ask for at least 3 pages and they have at least 10 designers battling it out. I'm going to skip ahead while I read everything. Okay, lots of instructions regarding how to place certain elements, but nothing regarding style, what they like or anything of that nature. So a pretty bad brief, to be honest. They're looking for someone to execute their plan, not a real designer. Let's look at their files. Okay, a whiteboard. Again, this is not a great sign. It means there's a team working on the project instead of one person. This means the feedback we receive may A, be delayed, and B, it might deceive us. Let me explain the latter point. From my experience, I've seen lots of cases where the person writing the feedback loves my work, loves my energy, but the team has a different opinion. So while I'm interpreting messages and hints of the person I'm talking to, if the decision isn't in his hands, I might be fooling myself thinking I'm on the right track. There's nothing worse than assuming you're about to win and then at the last moment losing inexplicably. You'll maybe get a message like, "Hey, sorry, I tried to push your design through, but my team decided to go in another direction." That's heartbreaking and infuriating. As for the actual picture, it doesn't help much. I'm not sure what this is, but I've gone through the brief quickly. Let's see the second one. Yeah, this is an overview of the entire thing, again not that helpful. The last one is a decent wireframe and it does show us where we should place each element. This has advantages in the sense that we don't have to imagine anything ourselves, but it's also a major downside because every designer will create a similar layout. All in all, I can see why this contest doesn't have any entries. The client doesn't provide written feedback, the brief is long, complicated and too detailed, the whiteboard sketches are hard to follow, so it makes sense why people are avoiding it. If this was for a lower amount of money or a higher number of pages, I'd definitely avoid it, but sometimes it pays off to tackle difficult projects that most people skip. This means fewer competitors, the contest holder will have less distractions, so this means more attention to you, and ultimately, your chances of winning are higher. Of course, this comes at a price. You must be ready for a difficult project. I'm up for it, so let's start working on it. Please read the brief in depth, it's attached to this video, and then continue with the next lecture. Without going through it, the next bits won't make much sense. Okay, let's go.